Later that evening, Lot informed Watson and I that dinner was ready to be served. Madame Janet was already seated in the dining room. Her plate was sitting before her, and waiting at both her sides were Sophia and Ash. "It is an honor to have you join us. Ash, do set their plates."
"With pleasure."
"Would you like for me to help? You've gone out of your way to let us stay, so it's the least I could do."
"Oh, but we couldn't allow a guest to help. That just won't do."
"Nonsense! We weren't invited the same as a common guest. Barged in more like. Please."
You may wish to take a bit more care with the madam's soup, or it shall...
Oops!
Holmes! You could stand to listen.
I'm so sorry. This was meant to be for you, wasn't it?
This is the plan that Emily had. Alright.
Let me take yours, then. Please, madam, take mine.
Thank you, but I don't mind the first. Oh, Holmes, you must show better form in the future.
It truly was clumsy of me. Suppose I was a bit too excited. The soup looks absolutely mouth-watering, you know. Can't wait to tuck in.
There it is. There it is.
Don't!
What is it, Sophia? Right when Watson placed the spoon to his lips, Sophia cried so sharply that it stopped all movement in the room.
Ugh.
There she stood, body trembling as one did from a fiercely cold draught, arms wrapped around her chest in self-embrace. Her eyes, meanwhile, were the only part of her that was steady. She focused with a horror-stricken expression at Watson's soup bowl.
Beg pardon, but would everyone here take a moment to indulge Miss Watson and I? That includes you, Sophia.
Oh.
In the beginning, we thought the culprit behind the strange happenings since the late master's death was someone from outside the mansion. But we thought wrong. It was, we conclude, the work of someone inside the mansion. Someone in this very room found it was to their benefit for you, madam, and your husband to be gone.
This someone motioned to commit the first of several crimes by murdering your husband under the guise of a mere heart attack. That can't be true! Madame Janet gasped in disbelief.
In the natural world and within reach of our culprit, there just so happened to be a cardiotoxin to mimic the symptoms of a heart attack. What is that substance, you ask? The venom of a swamp adder. Then it had nothing to do with money.
Precisely. They were stolen for what they contain. A rare substance which is both poisonous and venomous.
It was known the master was an avid smoker, so they used this fact to lace his pipe with the toxin. He needed to only ingest the smallest amount once he put the pipe to his mouth, for the symptoms to make themselves known and cause his death.
Next, we have the matter of both Madame Janet and Ash experiencing health problems within the mansion's walls.
Is it a case when we were simply exhausted?
It is a case because neither of you were exhausted. That your symptoms were identical helped us discover the one other thing you had in common. You both have gone into the late master's study. Madame Janet goes in frequently, and you, Ash, once cleaned the day after it rained.
How is the weather relevant?
As you're aware, the wallpaper in the study is emerald in color. The mansion happens to be rather old, so there are a number of places where water leaks and dampens the walls. The wallpaper of the study is a recent addition, however, and though water damage occurs in that room as much as anywhere else, it is no longer as apparent. In short, the moisture building up is causing the wallpaper's pigment to be metabolized by mold, giving rise to arsine gas.
Then the room itself is dangerous.
Very much so. And it is why you haven't felt well since the death of your husband. The ones who selected the wallpaper were Lot and Sophia, correct? Yes, that's correct. This narrowed down our list of suspects to one of you. We first considered you were acting in cooperation, but dismissed it upon further investigation. That left us with only one person.
Oh, Watson's turn! Objection!
You, Sophia.
Sophia? You think I'm the culprit?
Sophia's voice was strained, her skin pulled back like yarn on the verge of unraveling.
Why suspect me over Lot? He is far more...
You are aware of when Lot was attacked?
I am.
The only reason he was attacked at all was because he protected the madam. He did so whilst unaware that the swamp adder's fangs had been removed. You see, he was prepared to die if it meant her life would be spared. Now, why would he do such a thing if he meant her harm? The only answer is, he wouldn't. She is dear to him.
There's more to it than that, of course. You reported to us that the person who pushed Madame Janet was a slender woman.
This could not be further from the victim's own reports of having been pushed by a muscular man.
There must be some sort of mistake.
Mistake? We aren't mistaken. A mistake would mean the Madam's memory was faulty, but we've concluded the event as she tells it to be accurate. You're lying to us, Sophia, in order to protect another.
Oh!
This accusation startled her greatly. You know, as we all do, Sophia, that the madam will be going to complete the inheritance proceedings tomorrow. Was that why Ted ordered you to use the swamp adder's toxin to kill her?
Why do you...
He may have left the mansion, but it's reasonable to think you would continue your relationship in secret. Your face when Holmes ate the meat pie Ted loved so much wasn't the face of someone thinking of a former lover. If we're to position him as the one who attempted murder on his own mother, then the reason you lied to us becomes clear. You tried to stamp out his involvement, even if it placed you in the line of suspicion. Have I got it?
Sophia, please tell me you aren't still intimate with Ted. Is it true? I thought you parted ways when he left. Unfortunately for you, that didn't happen. We are still very much in love.
The ease at which Sophia's tone shifted was unsettling. Her quiet despair was no more, with each new word sharp as a kitchen knife and darkly energized by a presence which felt long restrained.
Sophia! If it weren't for you detectives...
She had been boring a hole in the floor, but in another unsettling shift, she raised her head and extended her arm to me rapidly.
If you hadn't come...
Look out, Emily!
I could not react soon enough. I saw her palm outstretched before my face, blinked, and was pulled into the wild force of Sophia's grip. Her other hand held a fruit knife acquired from the kitchen. You weren't gonna let Watson die, but you're gonna try and kill me? Rude.
I admit it! You're right! I killed the master, and I tried to kill you! I'd intended for you to die a gradual death, but you rushed your inheritance. Why? It would be yours no matter the time. Why go through proceedings with such urgency? Why, Sophia? Tell me why. Because you wouldn't accept our marriage. You rejected us, made to separate us. That was for your own good. I don't want to hear it. Once you're dead, we shall marry, and Ted will be flush with riches. All was going well till you two arrived and ruined our plans.
Sophia screeched with a venom that plunged deeper with each syllable. The emotion at its core was all I could comprehend, for the cold touch of the knife pressed to my neck made it too difficult to concentrate on anything else.
Now, if you don't want this girl's blood on the floor, you're to get out of my way. I won't be arrested here.
There's no running from this, Sophia. Scotland Yard has been alerted. They won't be long. Let her go.
They cannot lay a hand on me if I have a hostage. I'll be going to where Ted is waiting. And you can't stop me.
I can't stay like this. I need to loosen her grip. I raced through the self-defense techniques I learned from Pendleton. Then Watson's frantic glance met mine. He's close enough. All will be well if I can escape. With all the strength I had, I dug the heel of my boot atop Sophia's.
Oh!
She let go. It would only be temporary, but that was all I needed. I shook free from her grasp and ran to freedom.
No!
Stay still!
Watson twisted her arm upwards. The knife clattered upon hitting the floor. A woman of Sophia's size would never be able to break free from Watson's strength. At last, relief came to me, as it did us all. But relief was premature. Ted, I presume?
Jesus. Is this why you're so late to contact me?
Oh, dang, look at this asshole.
You're a pitiful excuse for a woman, Sophia.
Oh! Again did I become pulled backwards into a foreign grip. A knife did not meet my neck this time, however, but a gun to the temple.
Ted! Why are you...
Why? You still not cottoned on, Mother? I am the one pulling the strings. And yes, all for the money.
Ted's smile grew more twisted. I was close enough to catch the haze of alcohol lining his breath.
I never intended to have her help me. But then I had to botch pulling the fangs out of that damn snake.
His confession did little when the proofs were apparent, and his arm wrapped in a bandage was enough to award him guilt.
Can't very well do my dirty work with this now, can I?
And I would do it all again with pride. Anything to reach our happily ever after.
You made a plot to kill your parents and manipulate your lover into becoming a murderer for money? You're twisted. You're completely insane. Don't care much of what you think, Detective. Just get on with it. Give me the woman.
Ted pressed on the gun's trigger a hair to heighten his threat.
If you don't, Miss Assistant here won't see tomorrow. No one wishes for that now. Ugh.
I'd gone from imprisonment to freedom to imprisonment in short order, bound against my will by weapons both sharp and explosive in nature. My stomach could not take more of this. It was plummeting and rising to my throat at once. My circumstances were now Sophia's, in that I could not wrestle free from a man's grip, and yet our captors made all the difference in our fear. I mustn't do anything reckless. But then, what is mindful against a gun? Watson could not have appeared more pained. With reluctance, he let Sophia go free.
Oh, Ted! You don't know how I've missed you. Come, we must be quick with our escape.
Sophia rushed to her lover's side. There was purity in her then, with eyes made moist as she waited to receive a reward for her complete devotion. An embrace, a kiss, to flee into the night to where they could love one another openly and to where their titles were husband and wife.
Of course, I'll be getting out of here. But not you. You only leave once the yard has you in handcuffs.
Ah!
A kick, then a fall. She dropped to her knees and curled her arms around her stomach in pain.
You are joking. This is a lie. After all I've done. After all I've done for you.
After all you've done, yes. And I have more work for you. Spend your days in a cell for your man. The world will know you as a serial murderer after I put a bullet in every soul here.
You truly are the worst excuse of a man.
Say whatever you like. I know what I want, and I want booze. I want to gamble. I want whores.
You can't! Ted, why? Ted! How could you do this?
You might try to keep that mouth of yours shut, Mother. I'm not above killing family first.
The gun was now pointed directly at the madam.
For God's sake! Just stop!
That goes for you too. Don't you value your assistant's life?
Damn it!
Watson's face contorted. He was lost. We could do what our captor wanted. Take his kicks, hear his abuse, and shut our mouths as he waved his weapon around like a child's toy. We could obey and still end up dead. Reason was giving way to panic. My heart thudded at a rate that cut my breath short. All for this moment. This moment when, at last, my sense of relief was true.
I knew something was amiss upon that telephone call. You are ever the master at stirring up mischief, my lady.
Oh, dang, Pendleton coming to the rescue? Yes! Oh my gosh. Is he like a super elite ninja butler? I'm ready for it.
A welcoming and familiar voice, though not even raised, had overtaken the room.
Yeah. Ah!
I blinked. A bullet darted across the room and Ted's gun fell to the floor. The clattering sound was drowned out by a string of obscene oaths from the man.
Gah! Who in God's name are you?
Oh, dang! That expression, though! I gotta look at that. Hell yes.
Do pardon me if I sound curt, but I've no interest in humoring your questions presently. Are you hurt, my lady?
Gah!
Pendleton had no interest in letting the man sit comfortably either. He had little patience for anyone who thought to place me in harm's way. The butler swiftly approached. He presented a fist to the gut, then another, and another, until the gut was weakened with pain and the burly hand that held me loosened.
Pendleton!
All is well. Please, step behind me where it's safe. Quickly now.
I'd been freed. He guided me behind him, and I was all too happy to listen.
Gah! You damn...
Don't move!
Ah!
Ted attempted to climb to his feet, but was stopped by Watson slamming him back down.
I believe I am owed an explanation, my lady. I traveled to the Baker Street office where you claimed to be working, but to my shock there was no one inside. It was the landlady who informed me of a client's arrival earlier in the day. I come to this client's home to fetch you, and what should I find but you, held at gunpoint? I was certainly not prepared for this.
Well... Pendleton had such an aura of intimidation that I could not respond.
You might have been dead had I arrived minutes later. I hope you're prepared for a lengthy lecture for lying to me.
I didn't mean for all this.
Emily! Did he hurt you?
Watson left restraining Ted to Lot and hurried to care for me. Pendleton was no less livid with him than he was with me.
Watson, just how did you permit this to happen when you were right here with her? What made you think to put her in harm's way?
There was a raging tremor, however small to the butler's voice, that was similar to a pot close to boiling over.
Sir, I'm...
He could not come up with a proper response before Scotland Yard barreled down the entrance.
You're under arrest. Don't try to resist. Let me go. I'm not being thrown in a jail cell. Save your energy. You're coming with us.
And then the menace was gone.
This can't be. No. All I've done. And for what?
Sophia.
I've had enough.
Clutched within the woman's white-knuckled fingers was the very knife she had previously held to my neck.
Sophia!
She now held it against her own.
No, don't do that!
Stay away, my lady.
I took the first step towards her before Pendleton forced me to stay behind him.
I wish to die. There's no point in my going on.
Don't be a fool.
The knife's point drew closer to her throat. Closer.
Stop!
Again the knife was dropped. Before she could harm herself, Watson seized her arm and effortlessly kept all resistance from her at bay.
How dare you? Let me have it! Let me die!
That's not going to happen.
Oh,
I won't forgive you for what you've done. Ever! But I can't sit and watch a person die if I can stop it. I don't have the stomach to see that happen.
this is to help you sleep at night.
Don't twist my words. Whether you want to believe it, you're a good person. A bad one would have let me drink that poison soup with a smile, but you stopped me. You feared for a complete stranger.
How can you? How can you?
His appeal left her without strength in her legs. She was, at last, tired.
Please don't take the easy way out of this. You can change.
As Scotland Yard went to escort Sophia out of the mansion, Madame Janet approached.
Sophia,
let me tell you how very sorry I am.
For what? Why?
My husband and I are the driving force behind your actions. We had every hope our son would mend his ways, but it wasn't meant to be. All we did brought you suffering. Sorry, and thank you. Madame Janet gently placed a hand on Sophia's shoulder. For all his flaws, he is still our son. Thank you for loving him.
Madam,
I hope you choose someone worthy of your love next time. She did not say goodbye. The madam followed Sophia's last steps, observed her whimpering and sobbing until she was no longer to be seen. I must thank you both. You solved the mystery that plagued our household and more. I could not be more grateful for the work you've put in this case. The madam was sincere, which, I don't know why, it provided me no comfort. How could I, when this woman suffered all this loss, all this heartbreak within a month's time? I have a final request. You're welcome to decline, of course, but might it be possible to learn your true names?
You knew?
My, when did you notice? I had a feeling something wasn't quite right from the start. You always had a stiffness about you when addressing one another.
I hope we caused you no distress. Our intention was never to deceive you.
The two of us went straight into a string of apologies, churning them out one after another as though we couldn't get them out fast enough. Oh, you needn't prepare all this fuss. I should simply like to know your names after all you've done. I will never forget the heart with which you approached this case.
My name is William H. Watson. In truth, I'm Holmes's assistant.
Well, you do fit all I've heard about you. As strong in body as you are in heart. And you, Miss Watson, if this young man is he, then who are you? I am Emily Whiteley, Madam Janet. Miss Whiteley, is it? Thank you ever so much. Mr. Watson has been very blessed to have you as an assistant.
I have. She's more than I deserve, really.
Aww. Watson. Watson? He laughed in a weak, sheepish manner. And it spread to me. A small chuckle turned to a series of chuckles between us. Our work was done. The culprit had been caught, and we could finally laugh at our poor performances as Mr. Holmes and Miss Watson. I saw Watson back to his flat before returning to the mansion with Pendleton.
My lady, I dearly hope you will pardon the many things I wish to ask regarding today's events.
Consider them pardoned.
First, no. I've changed my mind. That you weren't injured, and Watson's desperate apologies in the carriage are enough to spare you a lecture this evening. I will let you off easy. You're to not step outside this mansion for anything other than lessons for 1 week, during which you'll be occupied with a series of special tasks provided by me.
What? Pendleton poured me a cup of tea. As always, both man and drink were perfection. Mwah. Chef's kiss. I accepted my tea with grace as I waited for him to elaborate.
If you're curious, the special task to which I refer will involve everything you need to learn on behavior befitting that of an upper-class woman. No effort will be spared to that end. Are you prepared?
As much I shall ever be. I knew that delight in his voice so well, but my mind wandered back to my actions. Through my fun, my lies, through the best and the worst of the day, I had been a child. I'm so sorry, Pendleton.
You understand your actions. That is enough for me. Here.
I took a sip from a newly poured cup of tea. It's unimaginable to me how love can become so destructive. That love could be so dark brought to mind the case with Alyssa.
Because I was the one who was seeing him first. I never thought a friend of mine would take him away from me. I loved him. I couldn't understand why he chose Angie over me. I can't stand how much regret I feel for introducing him to her.
Love is a pure, well-meant emotion, but such purity can topple with a single misstep. Once you've fallen, it becomes difficult to stand up again. The stronger your love, the harder the fall.
It breaks my heart to know this, that love and compassion, such wonderful things, can transform into evil. I will never let my feelings stray from the right path. I swear it.
I believe you. Through whatever challenges you face, you will persevere. But for now, you need only to enjoy your tea and indulge in a good night's sleep.
Thank you. I will.
By the way, Pendleton, why do you have that gun? Okay, we'll talk about it later, I guess. That's fine.